AMD recently sparked debate with its comments regarding the RX 9260 XT graphics card and its VRAM capacity. While the company claims that 8 GB of VRAM is sufficient for most gamers, because the majority play esports titles at 1080p, this stance appears at odds with earlier marketing, positioning of the same card as an ideal solution for smooth gaming at 1440p resolution. The inconsistency has drawn criticism from the gaming community and raised questions about AMD's messaging strategy. When AMD launched the RX 9060 XT, it presented the card as capable of handling demanding workloads, particularly highlighting its suitability for 1440p gaming. Official press releases touted the GPU as designed to deliver smooth performance in graphically intensive scenarios, seemingly appealing to a broader segment than just esports enthusiasts. However, Frank Azor, AMD's Senior Director of Gaming Solutions, recently stated on Twitter that most gamers still play at 1080p and don't need more than 8 GB VRAM, emphasizing that the card targets esports players who typically do not require vast memory buffers. He added that for users who find 8 GB insufficient, AMD offers a 16 GB variant with the same GPU and performance profile but double the memory capacity. This explanation, while technically valid, sparked frustration among gamers and analysts alike. Popular esports titles such as Counter-Strike 2, Dota 2, PUBG, and Apex Legends, which dominate global player counts on platforms like Steam, indeed, operate well at 1080p and have relatively modest VRAM demands. So from this narrow perspective, AMD's argument that 8 GB VRAM suffices for this majority is sound. The core of the backlash, however, lies not in whether 8 GB is enough for these specific titles, but in the conflicting messaging from AMD. On one hand, the company marketed the RX 9260 XT as a card built for serious 1440p gaming workloads. On the other, senior leadership is downplaying these claims, steering expectations toward a narrower use case focused on competitive esports at 1080p. Many gamers view this as misleading, essentially talking one way, selling another. It risks disappointing users who purchase the card, expecting solid 1440p performance, but may face limitations due to VRAM constraints. Adding fuel to the fire, AMD released two versions of the RX 9060 XT, one with 8 GB VRAM and one with 16 GB, but retained the same product name for both. This naming convention mirrors NVIDIA's approach with the RTX 4060 Ti and has previously drawn criticism for confusing consumers. Without clear differentiation, users might unknowingly buy the 8 GB model, expecting the same experience as the 16 GB one. Moreover, VRAM requirements have become increasingly crucial in modern gaming. Many 8AA titles, especially newer releases, demand more than 8 GB VRAM, even at 1080p settings, to maintain smooth frame rates and stable performance. Games like The Last of Us Part 1, Hogwarts Legacy, and Alan Wake 2 illustrate this trend, often requiring more than 8 GB for optimal play, let alone at 1440p or higher resolutions. These realities underscore a broader industry shift, where memory capacity matters as much as raw GPU power. High VRAM helps with texture loading, resolution, scaling, and future-proofs the card as games continue to evolve. While AMD's decision to produce an 8 GB variant caters to budget-conscious gamers and esports enthusiasts, the 16 GB version clearly targets a wider audience needing more headroom for demanding content. Yet, the messaging disconnect and naming strategy complicate the buying decision, potentially causing buyers to settle for less than what they anticipated. Ultimately, this controversy spotlights a challenge in GPU marketing today, balancing realistic use case promotion with broad appeal, without confusing or disappointing customers. Clear communication about product capabilities, intended use scenarios, and model distinctions remains key. Despite the debate, it's worth noting that AMD's RX 9060 XT lineup provides options for different gamer profiles. The 8 GB model suits those primarily playing competitive esports titles at 1080p, where ultra-high VRAM is less critical. Meanwhile, the 16 GB version offers a viable choice for gamers who want to enjoy 8AA games at higher resolutions with greater texture detail and stability. In conclusion, while 8 GB VRAM might suffice for a majority playing popular esports games, The growing demands of modern titles and previous AMD marketing claims make the current communication strategy problematic. Consumers should carefully consider their gaming preferences, monitor real-world benchmarks, and select the RX 9060 XT variant that truly matches their needs to avoid future disappointments.